For more, let's go to Bloomberg's David Stringer, who's standing outside the hotel for us now. Hi, David. I'm sure players like Tuttle are very envious of you being there and not stuck inside. Walk us through how we got here in the first place. The qualifiers were even moved to Qatar because of the pandemic, right?
The tournament itself usually would take place in January. It's now scheduled to go ahead in the first weeks of February. Look, despite these cases we've seen, organisers have committed to that. The tournament, as it stands, will go ahead from February the 8th as scheduled. And as you say, qualifiers are taking place elsewhere in the Middle East. And what we've seen in the past couple of days is as players have travelled in, whether that's from Abu Dhabi and from Doha, or even from the US and elsewhere, on 3 of those charter flights, we've seen COVID cases, positive tests as the planes have landed, and that's meant that about 72 players and dozens more officials and other passengers have had to go straight into a hard hotel lockdown. They're spending 14 days inside the hotel rooms. They can't leave, they can't practice. They've already been told off by authorities for even opening their doors. That's certainly been a problem in the first couple of hours.
And why has the decision to allow more than 1,000 players and officials to fly into Australia in the first place, why has it been so contentious?
Well, it has caused some conflicting emotions in the community. You know, people here in Melbourne are very proud of their sporting events. They're extremely eager to see the tennis go ahead, particularly as the Formula One Grand Prix that was scheduled for March has been delayed, and that was cancelled last year. But it is the case that there are thousands of Australians stranded overseas. You know, they're unable to get back home to Australia because of caps on the number of international arrivals that are allowed into the country. And look, while the tennis players aren't counted, they're not displacing other people. I guess it's the fact that lots of, thousands of people from overseas are being allowed in for a tennis tournament while other regular citizens remain stranded overseas. And what's more, we've also seen in recent weeks people unable to get back to Melbourne, even from closer to home, even from Sydney and over other interstate borders. So, people have been a little bit concerned that there's one rule for athletes and another for regular citizens.
It is exciting to hear that sports are starting up again. The tournament will go forward. At the same time, there's concern, I'm sure, for residents on the ground there. What's the general feeling for residents?
I think people are wary. Melbourne went through one of the Western world's toughest lockdowns in the latter part of last year. And that was sparked really by breaches with hotel quarantine. And what we're seeing now is we've got tennis players and officials isolating in some of those same hotels. One of the hotels right behind me here across the street is among them. So there is concern that there's a prospect there for a new bout of community transmission. But that said, officials have assured the public that there are really strict measures in place. Even those who haven't been associated with flights that have had COVID cases, they're hardly free to move around. Most regular players, they're also in hotels, quarantined from the public. And while those people are allowed out to train for 5 hours a day, they're not really mingling with the community. So, look, I think people are happy the tournament's going ahead, but they are wary about the prospect that it could spark some new infections.
All right, that's David Stringer for us in Melbourne.